Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Gaming Lounge Podcast, episode 54. Once again, I'm your host, Sebastian, and as always, I'm joined by Dory. How's everything going, Dory?
Hello, I am doing well. It's a lovely Memorial Day weekend after a very crappy week of rain, cold, and wind. I just got out of the theaters a couple days ago from seeing Sinners, which was awesome. So go check that out if you haven't already somehow. Michael B. Jordan is in it, and I mean, there are two of him, so I mean, if that's not enough for you, I don't know what is. But yeah, it's been a news-filled week. We have so much news to talk about. We're going to talk about some Bungie fuck-ups, rumors of new games coming out from Shift Up, from the NetherRealm folks, and as well as Naughty Dog. And then also we have some previews and Pitchford being an idiot. And then, of course, at the end, we're going to talk about the Six One Indie Showcase, game show, whatever, which Seb and I had a lot of games that we were really interested from. And I've actually went out of my way the past couple days to play a bunch of demos. That way I could give you all a little more of a sneak peek of like what those games are about. That way you don't have to play them for yourself. And a couple of them I really liked. So yeah, well, we got a lot to talk about. So let's get into it.
Yeah, it's going to be a big news topic, news episode this week, and it's going to be like that for the next month and a half or so, I would say. It's coming that time of the year. Summer Game Fest is right around the corner. It's next month. This is my last week of school coming up, so I will be on summer vacation. School year ends on May 30th. So usually Memorial Day weekend usually marks the final week of school, and I'm going to be playing a lot more games, but as I said, I'm going to be playing mostly my backlog. But either way, the point is, we're not going to have a lot of spotlighting and discussion topics. It's going to be very news heavy because there's a lot of news. I think this week was the first week where news really started kicking off. It's starting to really peak up. There's other topics we had to take out because there was just so much. It would have been a 5-hour show because there's a rumor about the Nintendo Direct coming out around the launch of the console, so we're going to get Nintendo Direct. And then there was a rumor about the State of Play that was happening as well. This is like we're getting a PlayStation event. We're just getting a State of Play. So we'll see what about that. So
I didn't even hear about those two things, so that just goes to show you how loaded this week was.
Yeah. So let's start with some Bungie news. So in the story of Sony, it's been quite a disaster for them with Bungie. Like, I think they strongly regret buying Bungie. I think when they bought Bungie, it was like a reaction to Microsoft purchasing ZeniMax and Bethesda. So I do think Sony regrets buying them, and it's been it's been a complete mess. And then the news that just happened last week or so is it's just another black eye for Sony and Bungie. So let's get into it. Bungie, who's the current developer of Marathon, which we talked about in the past, which we both said didn't interest us and looked very meh, honestly, very mediocre. But had cool art design, right? But apparently the art design has been stolen. So
the one fucking good thing about it isn't even fucking theirs, at least partially.
So as plagiarism is something I know very well as an English teacher. Something I got to deal with, especially the use of AI, and people steal art all the time, like especially with AI nowadays, right? But in this case, $1 billion company straight up stealing people's art. So let's talk about it. So in May of this year, there were two artists. How do you say the first one? Is it Antriel? Is it?
I thought it was anti-real, but it could be Antriel. Antriel. I think Antriel sounds better, but yeah.
Antriel, okay, so we'll say that. And then Fernhook. And they accused of Bungie of using their 2017 artwork in Marathon without their authorization. And they both provided visual comparisons showing specific design elements from their work that appeared in the game's alpha build and promotional materials. And notably, Hook identified a hidden reference in her original piece that was also present in the game's assets, which also strengthened her claim. Bungie said that they acknowledged the unauthorized use of the artist's work, attributing to the former employee who included the assets without the current team's knowledge. The company issued a public apology and stated that they were conducting a thorough review of all in-game assets to ensure proper attribution to and prevent further incidents. Additionally, Bungie has reached out to both Entriel and Hook to address the matters directly. Of course, there was major backlash on Twitter and other social media platforms. People just roasted them. I mean, right off the bat, I think Marathon already had a negative reaction. The reaction to the game was quite negative, I feel like, or at least underwhelming. So this game already had a uphill battle to start with. Now it's got to deal with this. So people were just taking advantage and piling on, of course, on them, and they showed a lot of support for the artist, as they should, and they showed a lot of disappointment towards Bungie's pages, and there are a lot of supporters who have contributed donations to their pages as a gesture of solidarity. And so, what does this mean? Well, the incident is not isolated. Bungie has faced similar allegations in the past. And last year, artist Tofu Rabbit was compensated after her fan art was used without her permission for a Destiny 2 themed Nerf gun. These recurring issues have raised concerns about the company's asset sourcing practices. And then Dory, you noted with Polygon.
Yeah, so I was watching, I was looking at YouTube, and I happened to notice that Polygon, at least somebody from Polygon, commented on this. They noted that these mistakes, like you said, have happened before, and part of that is probably because Bungie and a lot of companies in the industry, not just Bungie, do a lot of contract work, and they take people who are contracted for a certain amount of time, and then, of course, that contract ends. And all that institutional knowledge, all that know-how, all of that, I obviously inherently know where this goes or what this does or who this is for or should I use that or not use that is gone, right? And so, it's unfortunate. I mean, it's an unfortunate way. It leads to confusion, just like this and like before in the past, over what artwork is acceptable and what isn't. And so this is like the second, third time this has happened to Bungie. And honestly, if they'd stop doing this contract work, I know it's cheaper for them, and I know it means they don't have to do probably don't have to do insurance or some bullshit. But it's really sucky. And I mean, a part of this I should have mentioned also. There's a larger swelling of disavowal or disabuse within Bungie. I mean, the leadership have been called out recently for their toxic work environment. Bungie in general has been firing a lot of people. Somebody I know was literally let go from Bungie, and she's an amazing person in the games industry who hasn't been able to get a job since because it's so bad there. And she lives right near where the mecca of Silicon Valley is, not in it, but around that area of the United States. I mean, it's really bad, and Bungie itself is really bad right now in terms of their leadership and the environment they're creating. And now, of course, this stuff, and they're coming out with this game that a lot of people are really, like you and me, are really unsure about. I mean, Black Eye is probably at this point, putting it lightly, for Sony and Bungie.
Yeah, and I think if Bungie screws up, Sony can just take them over, right? Isn't that the contract? How it goes?
I don't know. I don't know if that'll be good, but
I believe that's the case. I believe if it fails, they can just take over the company and completely and becomes first party completely. Because they own them, but at the same time they have a contract with where they have dealings with other companies like Microsoft and whatever they can do. But if Sony takes over, they can own them completely and decide whatever they want to do. But I'm sure Sony would keep them on PC because obviously it's a PC audience for that. But yeah, Black Eye is definitely putting it lightly. I think this is a huge blow to the game that feels pretty much dead on arrival at this point. I mean, this game already had an uphill battle, as I said, and now like you have a plagiarism accusation, and they practically admitted it. So it's not looking good for this game. Maybe if the game was like really amazing looking, I guess people would. I could see a lot of people overlooking this kind of thing, but like with the game also being kind of looking mediocre to people, I think this game is pretty much doomed, honestly. And it feels like another Concord for Sony, which was $1 million loss for them. So it's not been a good transition into multiplayer for Sony with all these live service games so far. And then we didn't talk. This is not one of the topics, but then we had the other studio where the lady left, right? And so that game is questionable now. So it's been a mess for Sony right now with their development, fortunately, but especially with Bungie.
Yeah.
All right, another more positive PlayStation news: Stellar Blade is getting a sequel, and that's confirmed by its developer. So they're targeting a release date before the end of 2026. And the news came straight from their Q1 2025 investor presentation, which showcased a roadmap including a new installment of their hit game, which is also coming out next month on PC. So the original Stellar Blade launched in April 2024 as a PlayStation 5 exclusive, and it earned praise for its stylish combat and stunning visuals. And as I said, the PC version is coming out on June 11th. So if you didn't get a chance to play it because you don't play on PS5 or you don't own a PS5, it's coming to PC. They're also cooking up another IP, which is called Project Witches, which is a AAA urban sci-fi action RPG. And that's supposed to be coming out in 2027. And they have not confirmed whether this game will be exclusive to PS5 again, or if it will be on PC as well, or even Xbox. Dory, what's your interest in a sequel to Stellar Blade?
Yeah, I pretty high, honestly. I did like. I have a lot of criticisms of Stellar Blade, but overall, it was a solid game. It was a great game. And so despite my criticisms, I'd be very excited for something that refines the formula, maybe either does a better job at the story or just drops it, just de-emphasizes it because it was not good. And not that it was terrible or plot holy, but just that it was it wasn't very satisfying, wasn't very interesting. It was very bland. The writing and voice acting just didn't do much for me. So if they de-emphasize that stuff, or if they, improve it, I don't know really how you can do that with a kind of straightforward action throwback game like this. But I mean, it's definitely not impossible. You could try. So if they do that, I think this could be an excellent sequel. I think if they make the difficulty curve more consistent and they don't just suddenly ramp it up to 11 in the back half of the game, I think that would be great. And yeah, I mean, they were sequel baiting. I'm not surprised at all. They were sequel baiting from the get-go. Well, not from the get-go, but from like the end of the game is.
Gex?
I mean, it's not an ending at all. It's basically just a sequel bait. Even if you get like the true ending or whatever, right? So, and I hate that shit, by the way. The true ending should be a satisfying final full ending you get for all the hard work you do. You can leave teases, you can leave things unresolved, that's fine. I'm not saying you have to wrap up everything, but you can't just be like, but then what happens? Who knows? Buy our next $70 game to find out. Also, I'm a Kingdom Hearts fan. Have I said that? Anyway, so deeply hypocritical. Just want to put that out there. But Shift Up just don't have the sauce to be doing that stuff.
Astronomically hypocritical.
Absolutely.
If you're a Kingdom Hearts fan.
Yes, absolutely.
Every game is like a cryptic sequel.
Yes. But
Anyway.
But Nomura and Square Enix, they have the credit, they have the sauce to like get away with that for me. Shift Up is a brand new Korean developer who's story chops I have no particular like faith in. So it is a different situation, but also I'm a hypocrite. Yes. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'll definitely play it. The soundtrack. I'll always mention this every time we talk about Stellar Blade. I apologize to longtime viewers because I always bring this up, but I have to. The soundtrack was so good. Go check out that soundtrack. I don't often go back and listen to soundtracks unless it's Expedition 33. But when I do, Stellar Blade was really great. So on that front,
Now,
I believe it was nominated for best soundtrack. Was it at the Game of the Year?
yes.
Yes, so deservedly so. But yeah, I'm excited. I'd probably be day one.
Now, how do you feel about their other IP, the Project Witches game also coming out?
I mean, I love a good
2 years.
action RPG. It's we just talked about Kingdom Hearts, so I mean, it's one of my favorite genres of all time. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. I hadn't heard about that, but I'm interested to see what that looks like and what that is.
Yeah.
I forgot that they did the Nikki stuff. That's why Stellar Blade has a kind of overlap collaboration with Nikki, and then they also did the Infinity stuff that was really popular.
Yeah.
And they also did Nier Automata crossover and some DLC. Plus, we talked about it before, the PC stuff, the PC port. So they've been doing a lot for this game, which is great. And they introduced a new boss, new outfits, so all you pervs are happy. So, yeah, it's a good time.
It's good to see more AAA games coming out from China and Korea.
Yes.
And there's other countries as well in Asia. They're starting to starting to get more developers. So I'm glad to see that. We think a lot of Asian games tend to be like mobile gotcha games and all that kind of stuff. But there's been a lot of quality Asian games outside Japan, which that's really cool. So I'm excited for this. I'm excited to see what Project Witch is gonna look like. So I'm definitely interested. I hope it's not exclusive to PS5. I hope it's a PC game as well. But we'll see. All right, moving on to our third topic, which is the Injustice 3 rumors about with the Warner Brothers. All right, so a well-known MultiVersus data miner teased that Injustice 3 might be in development. Their cryptic post simply repeated "Injustice, Injustice, Injustice," followed by 3, fueling excitement and speculation about a new installment in the popular fighting series.
Now, hold on. With the state of the world, they could be talking about anything. No, I'm kidding.
Now,
There's a lot of injustice.
NetherRealm Studios, who's the creators of Injustice, have been quiet since the release of Mortal Kombat 1 Definitive Edition, and a recent job listings for roles in a AAA narrative-focused fighting game suggest that the studio may be gearing up for a fresh project, which is possibly Injustice 3. The timing is interesting, as Warner Brothers Games has recently closed down some studios and discontinued MultiVersus, but is emphasizing key franchises like Mortal Kombat, Harry Potter, and DC. This could mean a new Injustice title is on the horizon. And of course, they also said that they're not working on Mortal Kombat's DLCs anymore. They're pretty much giving up on Mortal Kombat 1. They're moving on. So that hints at Injustice 3 coming out even more. And all right, so before we get into the next part of the topic, how do you feel about this? Did you play Injustice? Have you played Mortal Kombat?
I don't think I ever played Injustice. I feel like maybe I watched somebody play it once, or I paid attention to the hype around it. I'm fighting games is one of my weak points. I don't play a lot of fighting games anymore. Even when I was growing up, it usually had to be like a licensed fighting game for me to really care. I know obviously this is licensed, but you get what I mean. Like I did like Digimon Rumble Arena and Smash, and I did dip my toes to Soul Calibur 3 when I was younger as well. And so I liked a lot of that stuff, but it just never carried through with me as an adult.
Yeah.
And I just haven't really stayed up to date with fighting games. But one thing I will say is I love the Mortal Kombat lore. I almost did dive into like a 3-hour like Mortal Kombat lore video or something. I was just so like curious, like what the fuck is happening in that universe. But yeah, I don't have any particular interest in Injustice. I do think it's a really cool idea. I do think that the comic it's based on, although it's kind of a trite trope at this point. Oh, what if Superman went bad?
Yeah.
But I do think the way that they did it at the time was very shocking and
Yeah.
was very well executed. It's talked about a lot for a reason. If folks don't know, basically Superman goes bad because Lois Lane and all of Metropolis is blown up by Joker. So Superman kills the Joker, becomes basically a fascist, and Batman and a group of allies become rebels. Basically, Batman more or less becomes kind of an anarchist, kind of.
Yeah.
So it's a really cool setup. It's a really cool Elseworlds
Yeah.
DC situation. I never really paid attention to what they did afterwards, story wise, in Injustice 2, but I've always loved the little intros that characters always do with each other. Those are some of my favorite parts where characters are interacting with each other and they say something. But yeah, I'm not much of a fighter person. But this is great for Injustice 3 fans. I mean, when did Injustice 2 come out? That was a while ago, right?
I want to say like 2017.
Yeah, that sounds right. So 8 years. So Injustice fans are hungry.
Let's see, 2017, yeah. In
Yep.
May 2017.
Okay. Timely.
I love the Injustice games. I think they have fantastic stories. I think the gameplay is really awesome, and I think the cast is awesome. The interactions are amazing. I really love the Injustice games, and I'm really excited for this. I don't know where you can go with it, I guess. Injustice 2 was like a nice final tribute to like the era of DC animation that we grew up with, where like the voice actor of Superman was the one we grew up with in the 90s cartoons, and it was the final. It was Kevin Conroy and what's the voice of Superman in the 90s cartoon? 90s Superman.
I don't remember, but he also voices Sephiroth in Kingdom Hearts 2, which is just crazy.
Let me look it up. It is.
Yeah, you look it up. But I know who you're talking about.
Tim Daly.
Tim Daly. Yeah.
So that was the final time we got to hear him and Kevin Conroy together, I think, in a game. And he basically just was Sephiroth because he was evil Superman. Although Superman's not necessarily evil, he's just like very corrupted by his tragedy that he becomes like a fascist. He thinks he's doing the right thing. Like he doesn't do it out of it because like he's just evil. He's not the Joker who just enjoys chaos. He's just like he just thinks he's kind of like he has that warped Darth Vader Anakin mindset where like if I'm gonna take control and have order. They actually think like that's the right thing. Like that's
right. He basically thinks like, I mean, because someone so chaotic ruined his life, that the solution is as much order as possible, even if that in basically makes him a fascist in practice.
You know, it's a great show to watch. You should watch Andor because very fitting.
A very very fitting show. Wonder why.
Yeah. Anyway, now let's talk about like what to expect from it. Now I think the roster is going to be mostly the same. I mean, obviously they have a lot of DC characters in it already. I do think now that we Watchmen have been part of DC and there's a crossover comic book with them and all that. That like I mean Watchmen's always been DC, but I like now that it's more prevalent with Batman and art like. Interacting with those kind of characters or Superman interacting with those characters. Maybe you'll see like Mr. Manhattan or something as a character. Now, how do you do that? Like, because he's so OP, like it wouldn't be fair, right? Oh, but it would be cool. Also, you definitely would see Peacemaker. I mean, he's already in Mortal Kombat 1 and they just showed season 2 trailer. So with John Cena. So I think that's pretty much a lock at this point. I think now that James Gunn owns DC and he's running the show, on his own, but he runs the show, that like maybe we'll see some crossovers with the animation because they said that their games are going to be canon to the movies. So maybe you can do Creature Commandos as the characters in this game. That'd be really cool. Like Weasel.
Nice.
Imagine fighting with Weasel. Like that'd be awesome. And you could do the Suicide Squad, right? All the Suicide Squad characters from the movie. Which is kind of canon, I suppose. I think it's kind of canon. So
I did look up the ending for Injustice 2. I won't say it, but basically it's a moral dilemma between Superman and Batman and who you're going to side with. And so I guess either Injustice 3 has to be a prequel or they have to decide which one's canon, or they go so far in the future it doesn't matter. But it does seem like you could have Darkseid as the main antagonist.
Yeah, I mean, if I remember correctly, it was Brainiac, and if you side with Superman, he becomes like Brainiac and just becomes the supreme
Yeah,
ruler of the universe, basically. And Batman's like the good ending, where they defeat Brainiac, and Superman like goes back to prison. But I'm going off the top of my head. But yeah, you're right. Where do you go from here? I mean, how do you are you gonna rehash the same story where Superman like gets out of prison and we're just gonna do the same show, the whole show again? I don't know. But I don't know how you could do a prequel because the first game does the whole story pretty much. So like,
right.
how do you even add on to it? Like, what do you need to
I
origin?
don't know.
An origin of Injustice is just regular Superman before he comes back.
Sure.
So what do you even do? So it really just should just be a DC fighting game, like, but it has to be Injustice, I guess. So
Yeah. I wonder if you do the I mean, everybody loves doing the multi-dimensional thing, so maybe you could have people coming from other dimensions,
yeah,
uh, and Superman and Batman team up with the rest of
yeah,
the league to
that's a good
stop
idea.
them.
That's a good idea,
Yeah.
but that's just the plot of Mortal Kombat One. So that's exactly what happened in Mortal Kombat One.
So, I mean, sounds like we have a winner.
There's just a
They'll just do the
rehash.
same thing except with DC characters. I
I
mean,
mean,
I don't,
the,
it'll work.
the climax of Mortal Kombat One was like the final like level. It was literally like every version of the characters fighting each other in a big giant brawl, like all the
Yeah.
timelines. Like it was actually really awesome. But I guess you could do that. Yeah, that'd be cool. Like that would explain why like creature commandos could show up or Peacemaker could show
Yeah.
up from like
That's what
John.
I was thinking. Yeah, you could have the people from Invincible show up too.
But I just don't know how you do the Injustice storyline again. I mean, I think it had a nice conclusion. So I'm not sure what else you could do. Maybe you just call it. Maybe it's not even going to be Injustice 3. Maybe it's just a DC fighting game.
Yeah, sure.
We're just assuming it's DC. They did do that DC versus Mortal Kombat game way back then, and you remember that one?
When they did Mortal Kombat versus DC.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was actually thinking about that too.
yeah. I don't think they're gonna do that, but I do think you could easily do a fighting game just with DC characters and have it like in the style of Mortal Kombat. Like I don't, it doesn't have to be Injustice. You can do a whole superhero storyline without having to like feel like you have to have Superman be evil and stuff or bad or whatever. All right, we'll see, but I'm excited either way. I think WB's been very inconsistent. They've had some really good games, but they've like really put their foot in their mouth with some decisions. Like we're gonna stick to service games, and that Suicide Squad game being bad, and moving on from Mortal Kombat 1, which people already had problems with. It's been a mixed bag, but they do have quality IPs. So
Right.
I want a new Batman game. I want a new Batman Beyond. I want Batman Beyond. That's what I really want. Give me a Batman Beyond cyberpunk style Batman game where I can fly around as Terry McGinnis, have old Batman. Unfortunately, we missed the mark because A, they killed Batman in Suicide Squad, even though I don't consider it canon, and B, Kevin Conroy died. Imagine if you had...
Neither do they, because they said that they were all fucking clones at the end, remember?
Yeah, so that's... But...
Yeah.
Wouldn't it have been
Anyway.
awesome if you had Terry McGinnis game and you had Kevin Conroy as an old Batman, like in the actual show?
I can't believe they sat on that fucking golden idea
I
for
know.
so long. That Kevin Conroy, goddamn, rest in peace, died.
Just bring Will Friedle
Ugh.
back, like the voice of Terry McGinnis.
Yeah, he's still alive. He's still there kicking.
Yeah.
You could easily have him. He's like, I think he's showing up at a con that I'm thinking about going to in a couple months. Like,
Yeah.
he's still alive and kicking and doing well.
Oh,
This is such an easy cash grab for WB. I'll never understand it.
Yeah, exactly. And he's like only in his 40s, so you could be
Yeah.
a voice actor for a long time.
Yeah,
All right,
for sure.
So WB's really all over the place. But they do have quality IPs under their belt, and they have quality games. Don't get me wrong, but they've made some really questionable decisions. All right, so moving on to more PlayStation news about Naughty Dog. Neil Druckmann has confirmed a new Naughty Dog project. So, Neil Druckmann, the co-president of Naughty Dog, has confirmed that the studio is working on a new game alongside Intergalactic. This exciting news reveals that Naughty Dog's creative pipeline is bustling with multiple projects. Because aren't they working on that fantasy game too? Like, isn't there like a fantasy?
I don't
game?
know.
There was a fantasy game that they were working on. Like, there was
Was there?
there was a rumor that they were working on a sci-fi game, which turned out to be Intergalactic.
Right.
They were working on a fantasy game, and I think there was even artwork. It kind of looked like Game of Thrones a bit. Maybe I'm misremembering, but I'm pretty sure there's like a guy.
No,
With
I think you're right. I'm looking at Reddit. Oh, okay. Well, there was a rumor 2 years ago that Naughty Dog developer hints at a fantasy setting in their next big game, but I mean, the person deleted their comment. So I mean, I don't know. We'll see.
I could have sworn I saw like artwork and stuff from it. It had like it had a Viking setting, or something.
It says, oh, okay. Here's something from Forbes back in 2022, September. Naughty Dog's next game may be a game, may be fantasy. If you believe hidden The Last of Us remake art. So it does look very Norse.
It says the Naughty Dog fantasy game rumors were disputed by the artists, so maybe that's not
okay.
So maybe it's not happening. Either way,
but they're at least working on 2 different games.
Yeah. So it says Intergalactic is Naughty Dog's highly anticipated new IP. It looked really awesome. I think you and I both really thought it looked really cool.
Yes,
the actress in it is in the HBO Last of Us series, right? Didn't she play Nora?
I believe that's correct. Yes.
And it generated a lot of buzz. It was a big hit. The trailer on I think it was the Game Awards, and while they're working on that, Naughty Dog fans can expect a strong lineup of games coming up. You would expect. I mean, Naughty Dog has given us nothing since Last of Us Part 2.
I fucking hope so. I mean, when Neil Druckmann teased this, guess what everybody said in the comment, and I retweeted it too, because it's been being a Naughty Dog fan for the past 5 years or so has been at least 4 years has been rough. And a lot of people were like, "Oh, good, The Last of Us remake remaster Part 2. I can't fucking wait." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's basically what it sounds like to me." I mean, it doesn't what it sounds. It's not what it sounds like to me. But I mean, God, dude, just come out with an actual fucking game.
See. Okay, so we talked about this like I don't know a couple months ago, or I don't know how long ago it was, but we remember Neil Druckmann said, "Oh, there's not going to be a Part 3," or he doesn't think there's going to be a Part 3. This is where I think both of you and I both said that that's probably bullshit. Yeah.
Bullshit.
First of all, it's been 5 years since Part 2. And also, the show is a big hit. They're doing like 4 seasons at least of it. They're going to drag it out, Part 2 out. And are they going to... So this topic is going to be a little bit of a HBO series discussion as well. Are they going to like pull a Game of Thrones where like they run out of material and they're just gonna make shit up? Like if let's say they get to Part 2, they finish Part 2 and they complete it. Are they gonna show us what happens after Ellie like puts the guitar down and goes off on her own? Are they gonna show us post Part 2? And is that gonna be like canon for Neil Druckmann's canon? And is that the games are gonna tie into the show, or is it like just making shit up like Game of Thrones, like after season 4? Where they just made shit up, and they gave us where George R. Martin gave them like a bullet point list of what happens in his future books, if that ever comes out. God, probably never. But like, and they just made shit up, and it was a disaster at the end. The last 2 seasons, or does Neil Druckmann know what's going on, and they're secretly working on Part 3, and it's gonna tie into the show, and we're gonna do the show did it better, or the games did it better. I feel like it's gonna be that. I feel like it's Part 3. I doesn't feel like Part 2 is the conclusion to Ellie's story, in my opinion. It just doesn't feel like it.
I mean, you could go back to the fact that this is all based on The Godfather. And did The Godfather end in Part 2? I mean, I'm sure some people wish it did, but no, it didn't. Mm-hmm. Right? 3 is the one that everybody hates, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. Well, hate's a strong word, but it's the worst one by far. Yeah.
Right. It's the worst one. Then not necessarily hate it, but just compared to everything else. I've only seen the first one, so I don't know. But anyway,
Part 2 is just
and actually, I should go rewatch the first one and then watch the second one at some point.
Yeah.
Regardless, yeah, I mean, it's based on the fucking Godfather, which is a trilogy, and in terms of based on the Godfather, I mean like the Part 1, the Part 2, that whole thing. Not obviously not the plot or characters. So yeah, I mean, I don't know if this is Last of Us Part 3. I don't know if it's a brand new game. It's obviously apparently not the fantasy one. So we've got the sci-fi, no fantasy. Maybe it's Last of Us 3, or maybe it's something else. Maybe it's with Nathan Drake's kid, or it's I don't know. I don't think they'll ever go back to Jack and Daxter. I don't think they'll ever go back
No, I
to.
think platformers are done.
Yeah, I think
Done.
they're only making very serious games at this point, which I mean is fine. It's fine, but I wish Naughty Dog. Sometimes I wish Naughty Dog would go back to the roots.
Even then, Jack and Daxter got very dark after the first game.
That's true. I forgot about that. Yeah,
it got very edgy.
2 is like Grand Theft Auto, PG-13.
Yeah, like Jack becomes like full dark and emo. Like it was very 2005. You know, Moat cry on a cross in the graveyard. You know what I mean? You know, every superhero movie back then, like they had a superhero would like in a gray setting cry on a cross. And they'd play like Evanescence or something. I missed that era. But anyway, I don't think it's a platformer. I don't think it's Uncharted. I think they're done with Uncharted. I feel like Uncharted 4 was the final conclusion. Obviously, it opened the door for a new era of treasure hunting, and they could easily use his daughter, but I just don't see Naughty Dog doing that. I feel like they've moved on from Uncharted. If I do think we'll get a new Uncharted one day, but I don't think it'd be Naughty Dog. I think they'll give it to a different developer that Sony owns.
Yeah.
But
especially with Amy Hennig now, founding the Sky Studio that she's part of, that's doing Black Panther and Captain America.
Right. So I think it's Last of Us Part 3. I think it's the safest bet, and I think
I agree.
Don't be shocked if it's not too far from now. Like all of a sudden they just drop a random trailer and it's like a whole like dialogue, cutscenes. Like it's been 5 years, so they haven't been doing anything besides working on Intergalactic in this project. So I have to think that the game is not too far away. I don't think this is some 2030 project.
No.
I think it's realistic to expect something in the near future, in the next 2 years. So, I said this before with Last of Us. I think because the second game I'm playing it right now again on PC, and it hits on the theme of revenge, like the backfiring on you and like throwing everything away just to get revenge, because both Abby and Ellie both lose everything, like everybody they love, because of the revenge. I feel like Ellie deserves a redemption third act where like it doesn't have to be the most happy end. You know, I'm not saying like everybody lives happily ever after, but it's got to be like at least a bittersweet ending where like she doesn't get everything, because she did do really horrible things. She violently killed innocent people that you can argue they're not innocent, but it's still she killed a pregnant lady, for example, like that. Like she crossed the line, and she knew it, because she's like shaking and she deeply regrets it. And she has to live with the guilt, and losing her finger was like a reminder. She can't play the guitar anymore. It was constant reminder that she has to live with that guilt. So I think Ellie deserves a happier ending than that. Even though you can say it's a great ending, I think it's due for a third act that redeems her.
Yeah,
in my opinion. Some people just. Sorry about that. So some people say that like part 1 should never been a part 2. Part 1 was perfect, had a perfect ending, and then people say that about part 2. I think it always does for a trilogy, and I think Naughty Dog loves doing trilogies. So
yeah, they do.
So I think it's The Last of Us Part 3. All right, is there anything else you wanted to hit on before we move on to the next topic?
No, just that I hope it is part 3. I'm excited for Intergalactic, and I hope both do well.
Yeah. All right, so next topic: the Liza P. Overture hands-on previews. So the upcoming prequel DLC Overture for Liza P has been showcased in recent hands-on previews, revealing exciting new content and features that expand the game's dark, Souls-like world. So this DLC has various new weapons and combat mechanics. Overture introduces several fresh weapons, including a gunblade, where there's a hybrid sword and firearm weapon for versatile combat, talon claws, which are like swift melee weapons perfect for close quarter fighting, and a royal bow, a ranged weapon that allows charged, powerful shots. There's also new Legion arms, such as Cataclysm, which is a double barrel shotgun arm, and Icarus, an arm that launches spinning blades that return after firing. So if you never played Liza P, the puppet, he has a mechanical arm, kind of like Full Metal Alchemist, and you can do special abilities with it. That's what they're referring to. It's set in a frozen Krat zoo. The DLC adds environmental challenges like the freeze status effect, which slows players down and limits stamina recovery. You'll face mutated animal enemies like baboons, hippos, and kangaroos, mixing up enemy encounters with fresh threats. It also has 2 new game modes. It has the Battle Memories, where you replay boss fights at different difficulty levels to hone your skills and earn rewards. It also has Death March, which is a tough boss rush mode where players face consecutive bosses with limited healing, which are going to test your endurance and your strategy. Now, the big conversation with this DLC was the difficulty options. So now this game has difficulty options. There's Legendary Stalker, which is the original challenging mode. So the original mode that I beat, and other people beat. There's the Butterflies Guidance mode, which is the more accessible, easier mode. And then you have the Awakened Puppet, which is an even harder mode for the most hardcore people. And it lets people play how they want to play it, right? And then finally, Liza P Overture is set to launch in the summer of this year. And it's promised to be 15 to 20 hours long, which makes it a substantial addition to the base game. It's basically a new game. Like, it's a huge expansion. It's a prequel. It's kind of like Miles Morales to me, to Spider-Man. All right, so the big conversation from this DLC was the difficulty options. People were complaining that they should not be catering to casuals and changing the whole game for that. I've always been in the camp that it's optional and it's something you can completely ignore if you want a hardcore experience, so it's really not an issue to me. It really doesn't matter to me if people play on easy mode. I don't think it changes anything for anyone. I don't see the issue with that. I feel like that's just gatekeeping for people. Dory, how do you feel about difficulty options in games? In this case,
I'm a big fan of them. I know some recent discourse was about the Doom game, Doom Dark Ages, and some people, loud people, annoying people, mostly were like, well, this isn't my Doom. This should be incredibly difficult. I'm playing on all these high difficulties and it doesn't feel like anything and da 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 da. And I mean, I always appreciate accessibility. I liked for a fact that the final bosses in Doom, I'm not going to give any spoilers or whatever. I don't think that's super important, but I won't do it anyway. Weren't blisteringly tough. They weren't annoying. Like the ones in Eternal and the one in 2016, mostly in Eternal, was really frustrating. Had these kind of environmental things that were really fucking hard. And then they had the DLC. I never touched the DLC for Eternal because that sounded ridiculous. Some of the stuff they did and they even nerfed a couple things in the DLC. id Software knew they went too far in the difficulty. And that's great for the people who like that stuff. I'm not saying, but it should be an option, right? And so I'm all about for accessibility, and I don't mind if people make a DLC and they're like, hey, this isn't for the casual folks. This is for people who love a really hardcore action RPG experience, and you've got to get your parrying on, or your blocking, or dodging, or whatever. I'm totally fine with that. It's a paid, like you said, it's a paid optional thing. You don't have to get involved if you don't want to. You don't have to buy it, and you can still enjoy the main game and be totally fine.
Yeah, totally agreed. Now, how do you feel about this game? Are you interested in DLC, or are you interested in playing this game ever?
I don't know. I'm certainly more open to it since I enjoyed Black Myth Wukong, but I don't have any active plans. I do think it's really cool, for instance, that when you beat the game once, the first time you're going through the game, I found this out through YouTube videos, but when you can't understand any of the bosses or what they're saying and whatnot, and then when you do New Game Plus, you can go back and you can understand what the bosses are saying, and some of them have tragic backstories, some of them are funny, some of them like are saying really important shit. And I thought that was really cool. So I mean, it's not necessarily for me, but I mean, I did really enjoy Black Myth, and I can't say Black Myth is that much different gameplay wise from Lies of P, at least best I understand or remember.
No, I would say Lies of P is more Souls than uh Black Myth Wukong. I think Black Myth Wukong was more action focused. I mean, it was Souls light and it was difficult at times. This one's more on the lines of like Sekiro or like, oh, I don't know if you know Sekiro. It's more like like Dark Souls in that sense, like the pairing and all that. It's hard. It's very hard. But with these difficulty options, maybe it's more accessible for people. I don't know how easier they're making it. There are builds that you can obviously make the game a lot easier. I think this game is fantastic in so many ways. It was my top 10 games of the year when it came out. It had beautiful gothic architecture. The animation was incredible. The storyline was very interesting. It was a great dark gothic twist on Pinocchio, without feeling like the same old Pinocchio story that we all know. It had a great twist on it. Like if robots all came to life and attacked the whole town, and it was a zombie game too. And I'm really excited for the future of this franchise. We're getting a DLC prequel, but we're also getting a sequel, I would assume, right? The ending was sequel bait, hinting at... Well, I can say this at this point, right? It's been, what, two years now? Wizard of Oz. So I'm excited to see where that goes. You saw the ruby slippers and everything. So we'll see how they can pull off like a Souls-like Wizard of Oz game. That sounds pretty badass, I ain't gonna lie. Especially if you ever saw the second movie, where it was a very, very, very dark movie in the 80s. A kids movie that was like really adult. They can really pull off a really awesome Souls Wizard of Oz game. So I'm excited for this DLC, but I'm also excited for the future of this franchise. It was a hit. It was a Game Pass hit. So Dory,
to be clear, are they bringing that accessibility? Not just, I was confused. Are they just doing the accessibility in the DLC, or also are they bringing that butterflies guidance to the main game too?
that's a good question. I think you have to buy the DLC to get it for the main game,
Okay.
but I don't know.
I mean, if they are introducing it to if they're introducing it to the main game and you can switch it at any time, that would make the game more appealing to me. That's my main thing. I'll always say this. This is my main thing about Souls games. I mean, I love combat, I love action, I love RPGs, but damn, I do not, generally speaking, do not love throwing my head up against a wall for about 3 hours. There are exceptions, Kingdom Hearts Critical, but I love that series to death. So like, that's a big exception. But generally speaking, yeah.
To be I looked it up. You don't have to own the DLC to get the difficulty. It's gonna be a free patch.
Oh, awesome. Okay, well that does increase my interest level, and I've heard great things about it. So
yeah,
is that forgive me for not remembering, is it Lies of P more about blocking and parrying, or is it more about dodging? I can't remember off the top of my head.
definitely parrying.
Definitely parrying, okay.
Which is hard. Cool. It is challenging, but yeah. It's a really awesome game. It's on Game Pass and I own it on Steam, so you doesn't hurt to just try it. See how you like it. It has really cool bosses, a lot of cool like robot looking enemies. The best thing to do in the game is use your elements, like use fire weapons or electrical weapons. Like bosses are weak to that kind of stuff. So just take advantage, look up what the boss is weak to, and it will really help you. So it's hard for sure, but with the right build and stuff, you can definitely power through it. I mean, a lot of people beat it, so it's not like it's impossible. All right, so next topic of the night was Randy Pitchford being a dumbass again. As Dory and I have been very clear on this podcast, we are not fans of Randy Pitchford at all. I do actually really like Borderlands, despite Randy Pitchford, but I do not like him at all. I think he's creepy, and I think he's a dumbass. All right, so on Twitter, he had an exchange with a fan, and a fan said this: Randy, this game better not be $80. Don't take that risk. A lot of gamers aren't gonna pay $80 and feed this notion of constant increase of the price tag. You are the CEO, and you have some say with the price when it comes to your publisher. And then Randy Pitchford replied, "Not my call." He said, A, not my call. B, if you're not a real fan, you'll find a way to make it happen. My local game store had Starflight for Sega Genesis for $80 in 1991 when I was just out of high school, working minimum wage at an ice cream parlor in Pismo Beach, and I found a way to make it happen. And then the reaction to that has been extremely negative, including me. And then people, of course, were going to say, like, fuck this, we're going to pirate Borderlands 4. My opinion is this. That's a really stupid, toxic mindset to have. And that's a really quick way for your game not to sell well. Now, I know the Twitter audience and social media audience is not the same as the casual audience. So this game still could sell very well without Randy being a dumbass. So, like, I don't think this automatically destroys the sales, because, like, Twitter is, like, 1% of the gaming community. But that said, why even say that? It's just stupidity. Like, I know, like, it's Borderlands, it's 2K, like, it's a huge franchise, like, you can say whatever and it's probably going to sell. But, like, you're the CEO, you represent a lot of people. Imagine this game really does fail, and you're the face of it because your stupidity. And it's so out of touch. You know the economy is bad right now. People are struggling, and $80 games are luxury items. Like, you're really pushing it. It's just so out of touch. Like, there's nothing worse than, like, a rich CEO telling people, like, if you're a real fan, you'll spend as much money as we charge you. Like, that's so ridiculous. Like, there's some franchises that get away with this $80 thing, and Mario can be one of them. Grand Theft Auto is one of them. I don't think Borderlands is one of them. I don't think a Borderlands 4 that's charging $80 at launch is going to sell very well, to be honest with you. I think that's a huge mistake if they do that. It hasn't been confirmed yet. It's not up to him. It's up to 2K. But, like, Borderlands is not a series that's going to sell for $80. I'm sorry. It's just not. Like, it's a good franchise. It's popular. It ain't that popular. So that's a mistake. But it sparked the whole debate about $80 games again. It's the big hot topic because we're all worried that games are going to be $80 everywhere. And the moment games become $80 everywhere is the moment I hardly buy day one games anymore. Like, I can't afford that. Like, even $70 was pushing it, but $80 now is like, I'd rather just get games on sales. Our podcast would change. We wouldn't do day one games as much anymore. Like, not that we do like every single one, but you get what I'm saying. Like, it would definitely slow down a bit. And I
already limit how many $70 games I get per year. I either get them through Game Pass. If I have to, I'll get them through Sony or through Steam or whatever. Yeah. But generally speaking, I try to avoid $70 ones as much as possible.
Yeah,
it's just a huge bit of my paycheck going right to a video game.
Yeah, and then also, like, people will say, "Oh, it's just $10." Like, what's the big deal? It's just $10 more. Because let's say you buy, like, I don't know, 10 day one games in a year. Like, that's $100 more you just spent in a year. $100 is gonna be a lot of money. It adds up. Is what I'm saying. The little things add up. The little purchases you make, the subscriptions you pay for, the DLC you pay for, the little, like, oh, well, it's just $5. I want to buy coins in my game. It's just $5. Well, it adds up. You buy it every 2 weeks. All of a sudden, you're spending $10 a month extra, and that's like a Spotify, it's almost a Spotify, like, premium subscription you're paying just for the $10 coins you just bought, your V-Bucks in Fortnite. You know what I mean? So it's not nothing. It's a significant cost. I don't give a shit if games were expensive in the 90s. That's a horrible reasoning. I think he tried to like push the whole, like, oh, our budget is so high. It's the highest it's costing Borderlands game. And everybody's like, I don't give a shit. And I don't give a shit either. It's not my responsibility as a consumer to support your game because you decide to have a big bloated budget. Like, that's your fault. Like, why do I have to support you because you chose to have $1 billion game? The only game they can get away with $1 billion game is Grand Theft Auto, because I know Rockstar's gonna give me a quality game, and I don't mind. I can understand paying the extra money because I know it's gonna be a humongous game. But if Randy Pitchford thinks he's Grand Theft Auto, he's he's delusional. It's ridiculous. That's a horrible approach, and it's gonna backfire immensely. Because even though as I said, social media is only 1% of like the gaming market. When parents or whoever goes to the game store and they see $80 Borderlands 4, they're gonna be like, we can wait, right? Like, people are not as willing. The casual market, who's the biggest market in the industry, is not going to support $80 games. So, and as Dory and I have both talked about, there are so many games coming out every week that the market is so saturated. You have to pick and choose what you're going to buy. And if all the games are $80, people are going to pick the biggest franchises that they like. Mario, Zelda, Pokemon, Grand Theft Auto. They're not going to do Borderlands like compared to Call of Duty. So this whole thing could be a moot point. We can just ignore Randy, and the game's just $70. It's most likely going to be $70, not $80. But Randy's just an idiot. There's a long way of saying Randy's an idiot. He's a creepy guy, and he's a dumbass, and he's really annoying. And they really got to get rid of him if they could, because he's always putting his foot in his mouth for them, I feel like. So Dory, how do you feel about these comments?
I mean, a lot of what you said, I'm gonna second. Pretty much everything. Pitchford has since added that it was, quote, not his intent to make people feel like they're being taken for granted, which is such a shitty apology. Well, it wasn't my intent. Doesn't matter what your intent was, bro. Just say I fucked up. I'm sorry. Like, this is something you have to do as an adult. Like, I've been there. I fucked up, and I was like, oh, but I didn't intend to. And then people were like, well, that doesn't fucking matter, because what happened, right? Yeah. And that's just how it is as an adult. You got to own that shit. And I don't expect Pitchford to do it. It's just a general thing. But Pitchford sucks. I mean, his whole idea that, costs are climbing, so we have to pass it on to the consumer. Bullshit. Like, Expedition 33, one of the best games I've ever played in my life, and it's only $50. The new Mafia game looks beautiful. Looks like it'll play pretty decently. $50. I believe Split Fiction had a pass that you could give to friends, which made it totally free for them.
That's what we did.
And yes, that's what we did. And I think, wasn't it $50?
It was either 40 or 50.
It was like $40 or $50. Still one of the best games of the year. So two of my like goaties, or number 1 and number 2, are $50. You do not have to do this. Like, I understand it's not up to him, but he is the CEO. He has fucking sway. Like, to say like, oh, well, I'm just a little baby, also, and I can't do anything. What's that?
Sorry, just to add on to your point. The highest rated games like of the last 2 years, like Blueprints, only $30. Helldivers 2, only $40, and Balatro was only $15. So,
right.
And you already said the other ones. So, and Split Fiction was $50. So.
50, right? That's what I thought. So three big, huge games, and 2 of which, some of the games of the year for me and for Seb, are $50. You don't have to make it $80. You don't even have to make it $70. I honestly think $50 is a really solid price for a modern AAA game, and you don't have to charge $80 just to make a buck. It's corporate greed, and like you said, it's intentional design. They are making their game so big, so bombastic, so filled with guns and weapons and levels and characters and lore and graphics and everything else that has to be in a modern game. And then they cry foul when people complain about the prices. And like, also, economically, don't compare the fucking 90s to the goddamn 2020s. I'm sorry, the 1990s, for people who don't know, who I'm sorry, weren't alive or whatever, was one of the most prosperous times in America in terms of the economy, right? I mean, you say whatever you want about some of the presidents who were in power during that decade. But I mean, the economy was doing pretty damn well. And you can't compare that. You can't compare $80 in 1990 to the 2020s, where we've had a pandemic. We're basically in the middle of another recession. We're having all these global warfares and genocides that are going on. Like you can't compare the two. And so it's a very frustrating, tone-deaf comparison. And Randy's never going to learn. He's always going to put his foot in his mouth. And no one's ever going to do anything because he's the fucking CEO. So he just gets to be a stupid idiot online. And people line up for it. And you know what's funny? What's fucking funny? I saw the trailer for Borderlands 4. Right? We're on 4? Yes. Borderlands 4. And I was like, damn, this actually looks kind of decent. I don't really want to give Randy Pitchford money, but this looks good. Like, this looks better than the last one. It looks more grounded. I love Borderlands 2. I love Tales from the Borderland. So, like, I don't think I ever played 1, and I never played the prequel, but I have Borderlands experience, right? And I played some of the DLC. I didn't play Tiny Tina's either. But my point is, I have some experience, and I have some interest in the series, right? Some dwindling interest that Randy Pitchford kills every time he opens his mouth. And that's what happened this time. He says something stupid, and I'm like, yeah, I mean, this is why I don't want to give you guys fucking money, because Randy Pitchford, if you just get rid of Randy, honestly, I'd probably give money for this game. Yeah, I mean, as long as it's not $80.
Yeah, because otherwise, Borderlands is not really problematic. Like, there's nothing problematic in Borderlands. Like, there's nothing.
No, I mean, some of the humor is kind of cringy, and it doesn't age well, but it's not horribly racist or offensive or something, as far as I can remember.
Nothing like that.
No. So it's just like, Claptrap is fucking annoying. Like, that's like the harshest thing I can say about Borderlands 2 is like, well, Claptrap fucking sucks.
Borderlands 3 just tried too hard to be millennial funny, and it became really cringe. It's like, right. And the big concern I had for Borderlands 4 was, were they going to do Gen Z humor, where it's like Skibbity and all that crap?
Oh, God.
Are they going to do that? Because Randy's so out of touch. He thinks that's funny. And it's like,
he thinks he's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
He's like Elon Musk. They both think they're both nerds who think they're fucking. I saw this this skeet, as they say, on Blue Sky, where from Kumail Nanjiani, and he's like, you know what? I hate to say it, I think it was better when the jocks were in control. And I'm like, I kind of got to give it to Kumail on that one. Like, I'm really tired of these fucking nerds who think they're hilarious. I know I'm not funny, for the record, by the way. If anyone's ever seen my jokes on this podcast, I know I'm not funny. I don't like to pretend that I'm funny and then make a doge come. Anyway, we're getting political. But regardless, Randy's an idiot. This was stupid. His apologies, dumb as hell. And I'm only getting Borderlands 4 if it gets really good reviews, and also if, like, Seb gets it on Steam or some shit. Because if they could just got rid of Randy, I'd honestly probably buy Borderlands 4, or I'd buy the prequel or 1 or whatever, But no, I just have such a hard time giving the money as long as he's their CEO.
I'm still probably gonna get it, but not if it's $80. If it's $80 day one, I'm gonna wait for a sale. If it's like $70. Then I'll see you on reviews. I'll probably get it though. It'll probably be in the 80s. It's gonna be a good game. Nothing I see from that game tells me it's gonna be bad. I just don't like Randy, but it's one of those things where I can still support the game because it's not the same as like Harry Potter or J.K. Rowling, for example. It's mostly a 2K game that Randy's just the CEO of that specific company, Gearbox, but like it's 2K game. You're getting your money.
And it's important to note that, like, also not with J.K. Rowling, like, there's a whole team behind this, right? It's not just Randy. Randy isn't just the only person. It's just that he's the face of it, and so it's really hard to give money to it when Randy's the face of it. Yeah. But I'm also giving like credit. Like, there's a whole bunch of people who work there.
No, you're right.
I'm not saying I'm not saying your $60 or $70 going to make or break them because they make all their money before
it's complicated because it's the same thing. Because same thing in Harry Potter. Like, J.K. Rowling doesn't even own it anymore. WB owns it, and other people people. Avalanche made the game. And they all got punished because of her stupidity. So it's one of those debates. Like, where do you draw the line, and what do you support? Like, who gets what? Yeah, you know what I mean. It's not as bad, I think, but you get what I'm saying. It's similar.
Yeah, I mean, it's not as bad because Randy at least isn't violently transphobic and aligning himself with Nazis online and stuff like that.
Conclude with our final topic of the night, which is probably gonna be the longest one, is the 6 One Indie Gameshow, which is a curated showcase that highlights innovative and unique indie games, giving smaller developers a platform to
Can you
share
stop pushing?
their creative
Oh,
projects
sorry.
with a wider audience. You're okay. It features a diverse range of genres and developer insights that help the show helps gamers discover hidden gems while supporting passionate creators. So this showcase was purely indie focused and very obscure indie games. So if this is not your thing, this is not the show for you. As somebody that really likes indie games, and Dory as well, this is a great show. There's a lot of great games that they showed. I have 9 games, and Dory has 6 games, and then together we have 7 games. So we have a lot of games to talk about. I'm not going to go in full detail on every single one because we got snippets of some of them. Some of them are not worth like going in a whole essay about either. But I want to hit on all of them at least, just to shout out some of them, just to put on your wish list. What interested you? We'll jump back and forth with our list, and then we'll do the both lists at the end. At the end, that way it's not one person talking for like 25 minutes straight, and then vice versa. So I'm on the YouTube video showcase because it has thumbnails, it has the timestamps. I mean, it has the timestamps with all the games. So I'm going to use that when I'm talking, just to pull it up so I have a visual what I'm talking about. And the first game that I thought looked cool was Shadows of Chroma Tower, which had a really unique art style. It was a first-person shooter. I'm gonna guess this is a dungeon crawler roguelike kind of game. That's the vibe I was getting. You fight like skeletons. You have like a bow and arrow and a sword. So like I guess you use different weapons to fight. The character's also holding a lantern. I really like the cool retro like neon color template in this game. It looked really cool. I just thought it stood out from any other game in this showcase. There was no other game that had like a first person view like this, with like a dungeon crawler kind of game. I thought it looked cool. I'm not saying I'm definitely gonna buy this or anything. It drew my interest. I wish list this on Steam, and we'll see from there. Do you have any interest in this game? This is like the first, not this is like the first game they showed in the actual showcase, not the pre-show. Any interest in this one?
Yeah, I mean, I love the art style. It looks really cool, but I'm not super into the dungeon crawling kind of aspect.
Yeah.
But you can join the playtest if you want. So if it interests you at all, go check it out.
Yeah. All right. So Dory, your first game in your list was Layla.
Yep. I also want to shout out Ben Starr as Petey. He had a bird's head. I don't actually know if it was Ben Starr and he was just sitting there, or I think it was just his.
I think it was like a doll. I think it was.
I think it was a doll with
prop.
Ben Starr, and had that Protect Trans Folks shirt on with a mace. So that was awesome. I have that same shirt except with a keyblade on it, so it's even cooler. Sorry, Ben Starr, I'm cooler than you. That is not true, by the way. Nobody is cooler than Ben Starr at this point. Yeah. Bro is like the Pedro Pascal of voice acting. Anyway, sorry, tangent. Layla looks really cool. For the most part, I'm going to read directly from Steam pages. But Layla is a heartfelt, hand-animated narrative game about the small yet significant struggles we all face, solve story-driven puzzles, relive fragile memories, and discover a deeply personal journey that may feel more familiar than you expect. Absolutely loved.
So you know that Bart Simpson meme where everybody cheers. Like say the word, Dory.
Yeah,
it's a what game?
It's a Dory game. And it's not going to be the first time y'all hear that. But yeah, it's got some point and click stuff. It looks like it deals with some body dysmorphia.
Yeah.
And there's just a lot of cozy vibes. There's some Ophelia Hamlet vibes with her kind of being in the water as well.
Yeah.
I really like the retro vibes here. Yeah, it's got me written all over it and a lot of it. I think it looks really cool.
Yeah. when I saw that game, I thought of you for sure. Like I was like, oh,
Yeah.
this is a Dory game,
Yep.
and I don't know if it's for me. I'll keep an eye on it. I didn't put it in my list because sometimes, as much as I love narrative games, sometimes like these kind of games don't click with me. Where I feel like there's just the pacing's just too slow for me, and I get bored. So we'll see, and then we'll go from there. But yeah, definitely looks interesting. All right.
I also want to clarify for
Go.
folks before we continue that
Go ahead.
these are all just games that caught our eye. It's not games where like, oh, day one or
Yeah.
we have to play it. Just games that caught our eye, looked cool, we might play.
Exactly. All right. So the next game that drew my interest was Bonnie Bear Saves Frog Time, which was like vibes of the game. It was so chill. The music was chill. I feel like a nice Steam Deck game just to hang out. Like I hope this game's only a couple hours long, just to have a chill time with it. I'm reading off Steam. It says it's a frog-obsessed comedy adventure featuring tactical frog battles, bizarre quest, and the mother of all frogs, the Mother Frogger. Grab your toad bag, count those cocoa duds, and explore an absurd world where every conflict is settled through frog time.
You know what this gave me? This gave me a similar, with also frogs in it, Frog Detective vibes.
Yeah.
I love Frog Detective, so it kind of gave me those kind of vibes.
Yeah, I like the dialogue. I like the animation. I love the music. It was just everything about it was just vibes, and the demo is out now, so you can try it out. I'm not saying I'm definitely gonna play it, but it looked really cool.
I just laugh at it. The guy who does the fucking the dab. The pink guy who looks kind of like Majin Buu who does the dab.
Yeah.
I just was watching it and it made me laugh again.
The dialogue
is so stupid.
The dialogue boxes remind me of what's that game? Oh my god, I'm forgetting the name. The Netflix one.
Bonnie Bear Saves Frog Time.
Netflix. Whatever. I'm forgetting it. What was that game where the aliens and what Netflix owns it? There's two of them.
Oh, Oxenfree?
Oxenfree. It looks just like that. All right.
Okay.
Yeah, the dialogue. If you look at the dialogue boxes and the font, looks just like
Oxenfree's dialogue. Yeah, I gotcha.
All right, so your next game was Muffle's Life Sentence.
Hell yeah. I've been playing this for about an hour or so, a little over an hour and 15.
Yeah.
Actually, a funny little thing about it is if you press F12 while you're playing it to take a screenshot in Steam, it'll actually bring up the dev tools.
Yeah.
So I don't know if if anyone's noted that or they gonna get around to fixing that, but it is kind of annoying. It's not a big deal, but it's funny. Yeah. What if you had Undertale or Earthbound, but extremely fucked up and really dark and messed up, and you're in prison?
So those games.
Okay, so those games, yeah, I guess Undertale Genocide Run. What if the Undertale Genocide Run was the game?
Earthbound 2.
Yeah. It's a RPG turn-based game. You are playing as this guy who basically has been his mouth has basically been boarded up. I'm not exactly sure. It's all retro pixel art, so you can't really tell. But basically, his face has all been disfigured. And this is a prison where everybody is, they are marked by the crimes that they have done. So people who have just done petty shit are basically just all uniform. But people who have done very particular things are marked, but particular serious things are marked by it.
Yeah.
In some kind of reflective way. So it's got RPG turn-based combat, like I said, with an Undertale-like presentation. You can't really talk people out of shit because you're in prison. So good luck with that. But basically, it's a deck-based system. Everything costs a certain amount of brain space, and you only have limited brain space. You can upgrade that through ethers. You can get more permanent health boosts through steroids, just like in real life, by the way. And the dialogue, as you might infer, is really darkly funny and fucked up. And yeah, it's just a really cool game. Not going to be for everyone, but it's for me for sure. I love it. Having a great time. Combat's not super deep. That's probably my only real problem with it so far.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I love the aesthetic, love the dialogue, love the writing, love the concept of the story. And yeah, basically your mission is to kill the prison warden so you can escape. So
yeah,
go figure.
All right, so my next game is Oscuro Blossom's Glow, which is looks like a Metroidvania platformer puzzle game. It says join Celine in a charming platforming and puzzle adventure where her ability to absorb and emit light from various flowers is key to activating mechanisms, overcoming obstacles, and navigating through environments that adjust depending on how you wield the light. So, right off the bat, I think the art style looks really cool. It reminds me of like a more colorful Hollow Knight. It's similar. It's really pretty to look at. So the art style was what jumps out to me the most. It's a brand new studio.
I
Uh,
love this art so much. This is so
yeah.
beautiful.
Now it has a lot of puzzles, which I know Dory, you're not a big fan of puzzles. I'm not really a big fan
Yeah,
of
that was
puzzles
part
either.
of why, and a lot of platforming too, which is also not my thing.
But I do love platformer puzzle games like Limbo and Inside and stuff like that. So this might be up my alley. I might play this just for the art style alone. So I'll keep an eye on it. I'm not saying I'm gonna definitely get it, but it definitely stood out to me with the because of its art style. It's really cool looking. It's really nice to look at. It feels like a perfect Steam Deck game. So or whatever handheld you play on. So the demo's already out. So go play it. I think the demo came out in February. So definitely test it out. All right, so Dory, your next game, Truth Scrapper.
Oh man, I think we might have to say the thing again. Think we have to say the thing again? Seems like a Dory game to me. So this is from the people
Yeah,
who made In Stars in Time.
yeah,
At least because of how gay it is, if for nothing else. But you have a case to solve, which is very me. Your memories reset each day, and two mysterious guys are vying for your attention. Who will you decide to remember, and who will you decide to push aside? So there's choice and consequence. Very narrative focused. Also very me. I did not play the game that they had already made, but I really like what I'm seeing here. I love the colors here, and I love like Insert Disc 5 is the developer and publisher. And like I said, they did In Stars in Time, which has overwhelmingly positive reviews based on over 5,000 reviews.
yeah.
That is a time loop turn-based RPG. So I immediately added that to my wish list. So I will be checking that out at some point too. But yeah, this looks beautiful. I really love the emphasis on narrative. It has disaster lesbians. So I mean, if that doesn't say Dory, I don't know what does. I mean, I'm not a lesbian, but I mean, I appreciate disaster lesbians for everything they do. And yeah, I mean, it looks beautiful. I mean, I keep emphasizing this enough, but there's just like a lot of grays mixed in with a lot of vibrant colors,
Yeah.
and it's kind of maybe it can be off-putting to some people, but I think it looks really cool. We only got a brief look at it, but I really like what I saw.
Yeah, Steam has it labeled as a visual novel and as a point and click game. So that's the kind of game it is. Narrative point and click adventure game with visual novel dialogue. That's exactly what it is actually. All right. Definitely interested me. That was like the one game where like they had the developer interviewed for a little bit
Yeah,
as well.
that's how we knew it was about disaster lesbians because the developer literally said it.
Yeah. All right.
So
So my next game is Away from Home, which definitely stood out as well. It's the only game that had this art style. It is. It says it's a rhythm-based RPG experience, providing detailed pixel art and expressive animation. Experience a fun world with lots of colorful characters. Come and disrupt the peace. So let me pull up on the YouTube video. So
yeah, this looked really cool. This looked like kind of like a '90s
yeah, that's what it reminded me of.
LucasArts game.
That's why I liked it because it reminded me of like like a Super Nintendo RPG mixed with like a point and click '90s adventure game that I grew up with as well, combined together. This definitely feels like a LucasArts game, but it's a rhythm game. Um, it has a lot of unique gameplay aspects to it. I'm really interested how the game's gonna play. Like, obviously they show the gameplay, but like I want to see how like someone actually play it and explain what's going on because it doesn't really explain how you're playing it, how the works. Because it says strategy and then it combines that with music, and then there's even RPG elements with like stats and all that. So I'm definitely curious how they pull this off. So and the other thing that stood out to me was the animation was very expressive. Like the characters were very detailed, and the story was very vague, and it kept the mystery going. So I'm just it drew my attention. It stood out to me. So I'm excited for this. Any interest in the story?
I thought this looked really cool at first, and I was just about to add it to my list. And then they're like, "Hey, how do you feel about rhythm games?" And I'm like, I don't know. That's kind of where this one lost me.
Sure.
And maybe it's not that bad. We're going to talk about another game later on that has a unique gameplay mechanic that I wasn't sure how it would land with me, and then I played the demo and I really liked it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not big into rhythm games. I just got done with Night in the Woods. And I literally played bass guitar for like around 10 years, and May's like the main character is a bassist. And like I did not like the rhythm sections in Night in the Woods. Yeah, they did not feel very well. Yeah. I've never seen a game use the number pad for music, and I did not like it.
Yeah, but if you do like if you're interested in this game, it comes out October 22nd. All right, so moving on. Dory, your next game. Well, no, it wasn't even a game. Your next item was 1,000 Times Resist, the vinyls.
Yeah, I just wanted to shout this out. This was really cool. I love 1,000 Times Resist. It's one of my favorite games from last year. It was one of my favorite indie games. It was my favorite indie game, or at least it was up there with Harold Halibut. Really loved it a lot. Just such a powerful, well done game.
Yeah.
Some minor issues with how lost you could get in certain sections, but generally speaking, just thought it was a beautiful game that's very important for the time that we live in and the times that we have.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to highlight these vinyls. The soundtrack is amazing. The songs are really good. The singing's really good. So if you have a vinyl player, go check this out. Honestly, just the artwork alone looks beautiful. So just wanted to shout this out real quick.
Definitely. All right, so my next game was Scratch the Cat, which it says on Steam, grab your headphones and step up to the turntable and Scratch the Cat, a vibrant action-adventure 3D platformer. Play as DJ Scratch, explore a sprawling musical world, fight bosses, and reclaim your stolen records. Turn up the volume and set the stage for the perfect comeback. Now, I love 3D platformers, as I've always said. I mean, I have Spyro statue right here. I'm wearing a Parappa the Rapper shirt right now, which is not even a platformer game, but it's still a mascot. I love mascots in video games. Like I love Astrobot, and I love Crash, and I love Spyro. I love Banjo-Kazooie, and Mario, and so on and so forth. This game looks like a game I would really like. Now, the animation definitely looks janky. It looks budget. I ain't gonna lie. It's probably not gonna be a great game, but it definitely looks like a game I'll enjoy. Like on the Steam Deck, for example. Where is the timestamp?
Yeah, I'm not big into platformers. That's why it's not on my list, but I do find it very charming.
Yeah, it looks cool. I like the idea. The cat reminds me of Binks on Xbox back in the day.
Yeah.
Like I said, the animation definitely looks a bit of a budget, and but it looked really cool. I love these kind of games. It's a nice game to play in between like the big cinematic hardcore games where like it's depressing or sad and it's fun. It's just fun around and play like a simple game with level based things. So I'm really excited for it. I won't say really excited. I'm interested in it. I think it's probably not going to be amazing, but it should be pretty good. The studio made Rebots. I didn't play that before, so this is our second game. All right, and it's not. We don't know. Do we have a release date? No. All right, so Dory, your next game was Glitch Spanker. Is that how you say it?
I muted myself. Yes, that is how you say it. And boy, I have conflicted feelings about putting this on my list. But yeah, this was really interesting, I guess you would say. I'm gonna read the Steam thing, and I'm gonna read it as
Yeah.
like straightforwardly as I can. Glitchbanker is a comedy-driven, if you couldn't tell, narrative adventure full of secrets, chaos, minigames, and unexpected choices. Spank, spare, or smooch your way through a corrupted 90s game haunted by a lonely, unstable virus. Every level is different, every choice matters, your future is in your wiggly hand. So, yeah, this is kind of like a 90s nostalgia thing, and it kind of worked for me. And it's got some really weird, kind of sexual vibes going on. And yeah, I mean, basically, the main antagonist is like a giant talking toilet, and you like go into the game and just start slapping around the glitches. You can befriend the virus. You can make it your enemy. You can even fall in love with it. It's really fucking weird, and I just wanted to highlight it just because of how weird it is.
Yeah. It has like that grimy mouthwash style animation.
Yes, yes.
That's what.
I think it's going to be a lot more uplifting than mouth washing.
That's
Please.
what. Yeah. Yeah. That's what interests me. I didn't put it on my list because I feel like I might get bored with after a while. Like
Yeah.
like it might be funny really in the beginning when you're spanking everything, but like after that, like would it keep my interest going?
That's fair.
Does it try too hard to be funny? So I'll keep my eye on it for sure. I put it on my wish list, even though it's not on my list. Because I was going to do that. So it comes out Q3 2025. All right. Next game. I already talked about this before because this is another showcase, but Scaravan 66, which is a action like road game where you're fighting cars on the street on Route 66. It says, put the pedal to the metal and outgun the devil in this high-octane car combat roguelike. Get that extra bit of horsepower from allies you meet on the road to take on the fiends of the underworld as you defy fate and anyone who stands in your way. So this is a roguelike game. It's a shooter, and it's coming soon to early access. So it's going to come out early access before it even comes out. And the release date is July 16. So it comes out in July. Although this feels like a Halloween game. I would not play this in July. Any interest in this? What did you say last time we talked about this?
I said that it piqued my interest, but not enough for me to put on the list. It's pretty much the same now. I don't know how I feel about roguelike. It's a genre that I'm generally pretty mixed on due to my proclivity of not liking to start over, as I've said before. But regardless, it looks cool. I love pedal to the metal and beat the devil or whatever. That's an amazing tagline. They got to shout that from the rooftops. That's awesome. I liked what I saw. It looked really cool. If it gets good reviews or good fan response, I'll probably pick it up, or at least I'll try it. And yeah, like you said, I would not play this in July. I don't know what they're thinking. At least delay it to September.
All right. So next game for Dory. All right, say it again, everybody.
It's a Dory game.
No, not just the Dory game. This is the Dory game. This is Disco Elysium.
This is basically Disco Elysium. In fact, it's so Disco Elysium that there is a Vice article about how Disco Elysium it is. Some of the people behind Disco Elysium, Robert Kurvitz, Alexander Rostov, and Helen Hinpier, have all played the demo, and all of them said wonderful things about this game called Rue Valley. We've actually talked about Rue Valley before. I don't remember when, but it was a while back, and I said, wow, this looks a lot like Disco. It is. I played the demo. It is Disco Elysium. The only differences really are that it's a more comic book kind of focus with the aesthetic, and that also, like, there's maybe a little bit less in terms of the lines being read, but I mean, the writing, the kind of total lack of motivation to be able to do anything, the mystery. I haven't seen the political elements, so maybe there's not that either. But basically, how it works in Rue Valley is that you're stuck in this desert. You're never going to guess the desert's name. I'll leave it as a mystery. Maybe you can figure it out. But it's a narrative RPG about a man trapped in a time loop surrounded by colorful casts with complex emotional stories, each hiding unexpected secrets. Dealing with mental challenges, the main character must rise from the depths, delving into the anomaly to uncover its enigmatic origins. So this is the first demo I played. I've got some notes on it. I'm always going to say, by the way, how long the demo was if you want to play it for yourself. So it's got a kind of a thoughts memory system, very similar to the kind of compartmentalized system that Disco has. I mean, this is a Disco-like, which I'm super excited to be able to say. That more games are trying to be like Disco Elysium. It's finally time. I mean, Disco Elysium came out in 2019, so it's been 6 years, and Final Cut came out a couple years later. It's got you can have different attributes for your character. So I chose someone who was introverted, a bit impulsive, and there was a third one, maybe an anxious mess. I can't remember. Not like me at all. Of course, I'm very different than that, and I would never self-insert myself into an RPG. Anyway, so you get varying conversations based on your attributes. So I was too awkward, so I couldn't. There's a receptionist who's on the phone, for example, and she's talking and talking and talking. So I had to go look at my phone. I had to go stare out the window. I pretended to read some pamphlets. That lady just kept talking. I was too awkward. I couldn't interrupt her. And again, this isn't based on me at all. This would never happen to me in real life. I would never just awkwardly stand there while someone's on the phone and feel rude interrupting them. Definitely would never happen to me. But anyway, basically after like a few minutes of doing fuck all, she finally got off the phone and then talked to me. So that's different things can happen based on the attributes you choose.
Yeah.
It's not 47 minutes in real time, so don't worry about that. It's more like, I mean, it gets faster every time, of course, right? Because you learn the loop and you know what you have to do, yada, yada. And the game also takes little shortcuts. Things change from time to time. It's not the same dialogue over and over again. So don't get worried about that. Basically, this guy doesn't have the will to do anything, is stuck in Rue Valley for court-mandated reasons. We don't know what. It's a mystery. And... yeah, I mean, you can click to move. Don't use WASD. I tried. It's inconsistent. I don't really know how you're supposed to just click to move and double click if you want to run. The writing was funny. It was interesting. I'm probably there day one. Oh, and the demo took me about 30 to 45 minutes. Probably the longest demo I played out of the bunch.
Gotcha. Yeah, it definitely interests me. I didn't put it on my list, but I'm a big fan of Disco Elysium, and this looks like that kind of game. So I definitely have it on my wish list. So I'm definitely check it out. All right, so let me pull up the next one, which is Hotel Barcelona, which we talked about in the podcast before as well.
Yes.
This game looks batshit crazy. I mean,
yeah.
How do you even
explain it? It's two of the most batshit crazy developers coming together on one batshit crazy game.
Yeah, so the gameplay looks amazing. It says from the creators of Deadly Premonition and No More Heroes, which are two great underrated franchises in Japan. A marshal possessed by a murderer, a hotel full of killers. Check in, wipe them out. That's it. In bold and in all caps. It looks amazing. It's labeled as an action roguelike, a Metroidvania, a Roguevania, and in PvE. The gameplay looks really cool. It looks like a blast. It looks batshit crazy. I praised this game last time we talked about it. I'm definitely interested in it. It doesn't say when it's coming out, but it's definitely on my wish list, as it was last time. All right. Moving on. Your last game on your list was Benny Bash. So tell us about Benny Bash.
Benny Bash. Everybody remembers Benny Bash, right? Big, huge character from the 80s. Some guy who dressed up like a plumber and jumped on monkeys or something or other, like kind of stole his thunder and went on to become a big, great hero. But Benny Bash was the original. Everybody remembers Benny Bash. This is a retro-inspired Inscription-like aesthetic. Yeah. I say Inscription-like not because it's got card-based gameplay, but just because the vibes, the aesthetic reminds me a lot of Inscription. I played the demo. It really stays true to that 80s platformer where you have very slippery shoes, and if you're not careful where you jump, you might go into a pit or something. But yeah, puzzles weren't super tough, but I didn't even think about, like, when I was seeing numbers, I was like, I didn't even put two and two together on it. It did startle me a few times. I love the low grade art. It's interesting and intense is what I wanted to say. But I was caught between those two words. It's very interesting and kind of intense at times. If you liked Pony Island, you'll probably like this, and I did like Pony Island.
Or Inscription, right? That's what it
Or
reminds me of.
Inscription, right? Of course, right.
Is it the same guy or no?
No, I believe it's a different guy.
Yeah, different guy.
Yeah.
It definitely interests me. Just because it's one of those it's one of those meta games where like it knows what it's doing. It like references like Mario basically. It's like one of those meta games where like it knows itself. Like it almost knows it's a video game basically. It looks really creepy. But who's more iconic, Benny or Volvi?
Oh man, now we gotta have like a fucking knockoff, spin-off mascot battle. That would be amazing. Volvi versus Benny Bass would be incredible. I'd be there day one.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Moving on to a couple of my games. So I'll do 2 games in a row since I have one more game than Dory. My next game was One Way Home, which personally was my favorite game of the showcase. And I can't believe I've never heard of this game before because it looks so up my alley. It's not even funny. It says it's take on the role of a 12-year-old boy in this puzzle platformer about the journey home through the most terrifying of nightmares. Each playthrough is unique. The choices you make affect the types of skills and locations, the story's progression, and its ending. So I love this game the way it looks because it reminds me of Limbo, Inside, Little Nightmares. It's so up my alley with the horror platformers. It's not even funny. Like it looks amazing. The visuals look incredible. The atmosphere is amazing. I love horror and I love everything about this game. Is there already a demo out? It's been out for a while, I guess. I just didn't know. The demo came out in March, it looks like. It looks insanely good. I'm day one. This is like the one game I'm definitely day one. Like I'm definitely get this game as soon as they give us a release date. Any interest in this one? This is my game of the showcase.
It's funny that it's your game of the showcase because for me it kind of passed me by. I think what it was, I was in an awkward point when I was watching it. I wasn't fully paying attention to the show because I was doing something.
Yeah.
And so I didn't really see this one. I might check this out just because you check it out on Steam.
Yeah.
But it looks. I do agree. It looks really cool. I'm one of those assholes who thinks Inside and Limbo. To me, they just feel a little overrated, and they just don't vibe with me as much as they do with other people.
But this is more Little Nightmares, I would say.
Sure. So, and I haven't played those, but yeah, I mean, I do think it looks really cool, and I do like a lot of what you said. So I'll probably check it out once you do.
When I say Little Nightmares, I mean Inside and Limbo are straight up puzzle focused games, right? Little Nightmares has some puzzles in it, but it's strongly like stealth and dodging and hiding and like climbing on things, escaping. It's not like puzzle heavy like those games were. So it's different. This is more. I watched the demo and then it has like voice acting and everything too. The kid's like British, so it's. I'm not saying it's AAA, but it's definitely on the AAA side of indies as close as you can get. Because it had it had full voice acting and had music and everything. It was really cool. All right. The next game was Kid Bash Super Legend, which looked really cool as well. The animation stood out to me. That's why I wanted to shout it out. It says, in this nostalgic roguelike action platformer, awaken in a world of forgotten game characters as a hero with no memory of his past. After failing to save a nearby village from destruction, can you rise, rebuild, and rediscover the true meaning of being a hero? So, obviously, like I said, right off the bat, let me pull it up. It's called Kid Bash. Trying to find
Kid Bash.
Trying to find. Okay, it was the second to last game.
Second to last, yeah.
So right off the bat, the 2D 3D mix with like it looked like stop motion at the same time really stood out to me. I really like the art style. It kind of reminds me of Mega Man.
Yes.
But if it's like a 2D 3D mix, it looks really fun. I like I said, I love platformers, so this is like a perfect handheld game. I'm totally into this. It reminds me of like the Link games, the Link Awakening.
Yeah, yeah.
Any interest in this game for you?
Not really for me. I was never a big Mega Man fan as a kid, and
Yeah.
I always hated how tough they were. So I don't have any good memories associated with it. I did love the animated series, and I love the Battle Network series. So, but yeah, I mean, this looks cool, but it's not my kind of game, really.
Yeah. But I love the just different art styles. They jumping around. Like there was like one boss battle where like you're ink.
Yes,
Like that was really
I
cool.
just saw that. Yeah,
Yeah, so I definitely wish list this. All right. Now we talk about. Now we're gonna talk about the games that we both have on our list. So I made that a separate list. It'd just be easier. So the first one was Leftovers KO, which you actually played, but like this was one of the games that showed up in the pre-show,
right.
and I was like, okay, I thought it was fake. I thought it was just like an ad for something. Like I didn't realize it was a game until like halfway through, because the animation just doesn't look like a game. It looked like somebody animated it. But then it turns out it's like a boxing punch out game where you're fighting food. Um, let me just read the Steam description and then you can give your impressions of it. It
Sure.
says Leftovers KO is a punch out inspired, yep, hand drawn animated boxing game where you fight a bunch of leftovers. It's like literally what I just said. After a long day at work, you come home to find that your uneaten food has come to life and it's here to beat you up with its hands. Defeat them all and uncover the
See when
truth.
that happens.
And not only that, it comes out tomorrow. So, Dory, how did you like this game?
I I'm torn. I love the art. Love it so much. It really gives me I'm gonna be saying this a lot, by the way. What like a game reminds me of, or what the aesthetic is, gives me Little Shop of Horrors vibes.
It,
With the
it,
aesthetic.
it reminds me of the 90s cartoons, like
Yes.
that grimy look. Think
Yeah.
was that show
Like
on?
Real Monsters.
Yeah, that show. Yeah, that's the one
Yeah.
exactly I was thinking of. I was also thinking of
Yeah.
Beavis and Butthead or like
Yes.
Daria or something.
Yep.
Yeah,
Uh, yeah. I look. Full disclosure, did not grow up playing Punch Out, so this isn't really my genre. But I wanted to give it a shot just because. I mean, honestly, I'll be real with everybody. The moment this game sold me on playing the demo was when the artichoked him, and there was big text for it. I was like, all right, well, now I have to at least play it. I have to at least try it.
for the puns.
I didn't care for it. I don't know my right from my left very well, and like the first enemy had like 3 rounds, and you only get 1 bar of health. It's tough. This is not a joke game. This is a tough game. So don't go into this thinking it's a joke game. I didn't necessarily, but I didn't have any expectations that it was going to be that hard. So yeah, make use of the training room. This is definitely a grind and get there eventually kind of game. It felt a little padded for me. I don't know. I like the soundtrack. I love the visuals, but the gameplay is not for me. So I took it off my wish list. But it's cool.
All right, the next game was Artist Impact, which we both talked about already on the podcast. What about that game interested you? Like, what did you see in that trailer?
Love the pixel kind of showcase of like how I did play some of the demo. That was the one I didn't get around to last time. But I basically like love the way that the combat looks, just with like all of the dancing pixels and stuff like that, and like how elegant everything looks with the animations. Yeah, gorgeous hand drawn pixel art. It just looks so cool. It kind of gives me some Nier Automata vibes. Like I said, I played a little bit of it and I liked what I played, but I need to see more.
Yeah,
So
that's fair.
it looks really cool. I don't have a lot to say that I didn't have to say before, because it's not really showing much more than it was before.
Yeah. The best part of this game to me is the art style because it stands out. Cause
Yes.
it's hand drawn and it looks so cool. Like there's not many games that look like this, if any. Um, but I like the comparison to Nier. It reminds me of like 2D retro Nier, which is awesome. So Steam says it's a fun turn-based RPG set in a future world of humans and AI. Play as Akane to explore vibrant locations, battle
I thought it was
Battle.
Akani, but I have no
Is
idea,
it
honestly.
Akani?
Nobody in this fucking game talks, so I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Let's say Akani. That sounds better. Akani to explore vibrant locations, battle with simple yet fluid combat, and enjoy side quests full of charming surprises. With a playful, humorous style and clever details, this adventure is light, easy, and full of adventure. That's a typo. The grammar is wrong there. Um, they showed off like the exploration of like the rooms and stuff. Like it looks like it kind of reminds me of a top-down RPG, like a Pokemon game, that kind of thing, where you walk in a
Yeah.
room, you loot a box or something. Um, Definitely a wish list game, and I'll keep an eye on it. It comes out August 7th, so this summer. All right, the next game was Jump the Track. That's our thumbnail as for this episode.
Oh,
Uh,
cool.
and no, Jump the Track. I'll read
Even
the
your dog excited about it.
yeah. I just got to go power through it. It says Jump the Track is you're Sam, a young dreamer struggling in the gig economy. However, tonight may change everything. In this absurd comedy, fight your inner battles, rally your forces, and get ready to overthrow the system. It says it's a story-rich pinball comedy and choices matter game. That's the genre Steam has it under. Dory, what interests you about this game?
All right, last time I'll say it. Everybody say it with me. It's a Dory game because choices, consequences, fun characters gives me retro 90s, 2000s vibe, mostly 2000s, especially Cartoon Network.
Very mid
You know,
2000s.
and there's also like some political intrigue too. So there's political themes, so that's very me as well.
Yeah.
I loved all that stuff. I played the demo. It was about 15, 20 minutes, pretty short.
Yeah.
And I'm not really clear on the story, to be honest with you. It's something to do with wanting to get tickets to go somewhere to do something from A to B to C to D. But that's not really the important part. The important part is that there's a little arcade game that basically you have to. It's like one of those phone games, basically within a game, and you have to hit the right dialogue little bubbles to get certain dialogue choices. And the game will always continue even if you do a bad choice or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's really cool. I love when games do that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean it's really just a game for me. I'm probably day one.
Yeah, the art style is what interests me about it. I need to see some more gameplay. But the dialogue interesting. The story looked interesting to me. Um, I'm not saying I'm definitely gonna get it, but it's definitely on my wish list. And it comes out this week, so it comes out on Wednesday, May 28th. So we'll see. You think you're gonna pick it up day one, or how do you feel?
I'm probably gonna be day one for it. I mean, I can't promise, but
Sure.
because there's definitely some indies for that came out 2025 that I was like, oh, maybe I'll get that. But I really liked what I played. The arcade pinball thing looked, looked iffy when they were doing it. But when I did it, I mean, it was fun. It was fun in practice. I was unsure about it, but I really liked it in practice.
Yeah, possibly I'll just wait for you for you to get it, and then I'll play it. If you thinking about getting it. All right. The next one was a week in the life of an asocial giraffe, which the demo's been out for a while. I know people have played it. There's a lot of YouTubers that have played it. It's let me just read the description and then we'll talk about it. It says a week in the life of a social giraffe is a point and click adventure game about a giraffe attempting to live his day-to-day life while not talking to anyone. So basically this is Introvert the game. Not something I can relate to. I'm an extrovert.
Of course.
I'm a teacher. But I understand. And this game is basically about finding creative point and click ways to avoid talking to someone. So making sure they get out of your sight in a creative way. I think it looks really cute. It has a really cool, really unique art style. It has like a very storybook, kindergarten like storybook art style to it. The dialogue looks fun. It looks charming. It's probably not gonna be a long game. It's like it's a charming little indie game. I love everything about it. Comes out this year. That's pretty much it about it. Like you're just avoiding interacting with others. The game.
Yeah. Not of course, just like Seb, I'm a very extroverted person, being autistic, and definitely never saying on the podcast that I'm introverted. So, although you wouldn't know it, I work a very social job. But yeah, to back up what Seb's saying, very very cute game. I played a demo. Honestly, I don't think it's got legs. I actually took it off my wish list.
Even though it's a
I think it's a
draft?
cute. Yeah, I don't think it's got. I don't think it's got narrative or gameplay
Oh,
wise
no.
legs. I I think yeah. I think it's a cute concept, and I relate with it a lot. But it does get a bit repetitive. It's like every time you get caught, it like the same musical crescendo over and over again, and then the giraffe's head kind of. This sounds really bloody, but it's done for laughs. But basically, like blows up. It's not bloody at all. There's no blood, but
Yeah.
it's very cartoony. It gives me kind of classic Nickelodeon cartoons like Nick Jr. or something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but yeah, I mean, you basically get a game over and just hit continue. It's just point and click puzzles to avoid social interaction. It's a cool, funny concept and it's cute. I just don't think I don't know. It depends on how much. Like if they asked me for $5, maybe I'd buy it. But I doubt that's the asking price. And I'm
Maybe
not saying
10.
that that should be. But yeah. So I mean, and I figured out the puzzles on my own, so they can't be that tough. This is a very chill, easy game. And I liked what I played, but and as an asocial human myself, just to drop the gimmick a little bit, I can relate a lot with this giraffe. But I don't think there's enough here for me to buy it down the line. I could be wrong. Maybe it's amazing,
If it's a
but I just
if it's a cheap, cozy like short game, then perfect, right? Like if it overstays its welcome and it's like 7 hours long or something, then yeah, it will probably drag. But if it's a cute little game for a cheap price, I'll definitely get it. All right, we only got 3 games left. The last three are Kajora. So Kajora, which really stood out to me, which is this is probably my second favorite game here in terms of like something new that caught my eye. It says when Kajora realized that her peaceful village has been reliving the same day over and over, she and her friends seek out to try and uncover the origin of the mysterious time loop cursed on her village. It is a adventure platformer puzzle game, and it has a very unique 3D 2D mix. It has a Studio Ghibli style, which I really liked, and Dory noted that as well. The best part of this game, I think, right off the bat, is the beautiful aesthetic. The art style looks really interesting and unique, and it stood out from the other games. Um, the puzzle, it looks like a puzzle game, so it's not a kind of. I was thinking like this is not a kind of game you would like because it's a puzzle. It's a platforming puzzle game like Limbo.
yeah.
But
It really ran. I was gonna ask you if you were surprised to see this. Yeah, I was really taken away by the art. I love the Ghibli like graphics, beautiful aesthetic. Kids getting into trouble, always a golden ticket
sure,
for me to be at least somewhat interested. Um, I did play the demo. The puzzle mechanics aren't that tough. I mean, I at least not so far. Maybe they get more difficult down the line, and that's when I'm like, okay, they've crossed the line. I'm using a guide. But at least for the first like half an hour or whatever it was. It took me around 30 minutes to do it. Oh, the jump the track one was about like maybe 15, 20 minutes. And the asocial giraffe was like under 30 as well. But anyway, okay, Jorah, basically your mom's sick and you're in this village and a monster segments, but like I don't know, it was cute and I liked it and I'm interested in what's going on. I'm interested in the mystery. It's another time loop game. But you know, I think it looks really cool, and I'm excited to play it down the line if it gets good reviews.
absolutely. This is definitely a really cool looking game. All right, let's go to the next one. Mouse PI for hire. I mean,
We've talked about this one to death.
yes, we both are really interested in it. Still no release date, but Cuphead vibes, first person shooter, and old school Disney, Warner Brothers, early 1920s. It looks amazing. What else needs to be said? We talked about it 100 times. It looks great. Probably day one. Just give us a release date already, please. And then the last game, the best game possibly, Dino Blade. Dinosaurs with swords. What else can you ask for, right? Let me pull up the Steam page. It says Dino Blade is an action RPG game that takes place right after a major event that changes what we know about dinosaurs. Set out on a journey as a young Spinosaurus that uses a great sword fighting against other dinosaurs that uses weapons to prevent an extinction. I mean, what more needs to be said?
Look, if this isn't everyone's immediate goatee, I don't know what to tell you. It's fucking dinosaurs. They're wielding swords. You get to fight other dinosaurs who may or may not be wielding swords. If this is not your game of the year contention,
Yeah.
I don't know what we're doing. Expedition 33, get out of here with that French baguette shit. Get out of here with that amazing turn-based combat and incredible cutscenes and writing. Get out of here. This is fucking dinosaurs with blades.
So just to add on, it also says you will explore new lands with different breathtaking biomes. In each biome, you'll face different types of dinosaurs, including an alpha giant that rules the land. The only way to move forward is to defeat it. Defeat your enemies to get stronger and unlock new skills. You may learn powerful abilities that you can combine with your combos and suit your combat style. Dodge, roll, or parry to help you fight your way through these lands while unlocking new weapons in the journey to help uncover the mystery of it all. Become the alpha to save your home from these threats. So you're like Cloud, but you're a Spinosaurus, basically.
Yeah.
It's the game sells
that's
itself.
It.
It sells itself.
That's it.
Day one.
Absolutely.
Did they ever make another game? No, this is their first game.
Yeah, it's based on concept art.
And their publisher and the developer is called Team Spino, so that's perfect. So yeah, this is the last game they showed at the showcase, and it kind of ended abruptly, but they saved the best for last, possibly. There's no release date, but I did wish list this, so I am excited for it.
I'm honestly, as much as I praised it, I'm probably just waiting on Seb to buy it. But it does look really cool. I love dinosaurs and I love swords. So yeah, let's wrap this up before we hit 2 hours, huh?
Yeah, this game. To be honest with you, the game probably is not going to be good, but it looks like stupid fun. So that's all that matters. All right, so that's our show. There was a lot of news, and there's probably gonna be a lot of news next week and for the next 2 months probably. So thanks for watching, everybody. I couldn't even tell you what we're gonna talk about next week. We'll see whatever news comes up. There's news almost every day at this point. But yeah, there's a lot. I know it was a longer episode, but there's so much to talk about. Overall I thought it was a good indie showcase. A lot of games I'm excited for. To balance it out with the AAA games. All right, and that's it. So Dory, you have a good night. Take care. And
bye, everybody. Enjoy Dino Blade Game of the Year.
Yep. Have a nice 3-day weekend if you're in the United States. Happy Memorial.
Beautiful. I never get 3-day weekends. I'm so excited. I'm gonna go play Mafia Definitive Edition.
Nice. Happy Memorial Day, everybody. Bye.
Bye.